Hi, everybody, and good morning. Welcome to our week number 6 Twitch live stream for my intro psych classes. Hopefully, everything's coming through okay on your end. I'm on campus today, which is always a little, oops, like I get a double, I can hear it on my phone. So it sounds like the sound is good. I can hear myself on my phone, which is a little awkward. But can everyone hear me and see me okay? If someone could let me know, that would be fantastic. And then we will get started. All right, if you could let me know in the chat. Perfect. Okay, thank you. Oh, I love it. Love the little face. Thank you. All right, so we are in week number 6, and hopefully at this point, you're feeling really comfortable with the class format and what to expect and how everything is going. But I do want to kind of go over the requirements for this week, give you the extra credit question, all that kind of stuff as we get closer and closer to the end of our semester here. So let's go ahead and go over to Canvas together and take a look at what we have going on for week number 6. And of course, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I will answer them for you. And don't forget to put your first and last name in the chat at some point unless you're subscribed, in which case you don't have to worry about it. But if you look down, we are right here in week number 6. So after this Sunday night and this week ends, we'll be in our last 2 weeks of our class as we get closer and closer to the end here. But let's take a look at week number 6 and see what we have going on for this week. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you do all the things from week number 5, which opened up last week on chapters 9 and 10 related to motivation and emotion, discussions 9 and 10, and then the short self-assessment that you have kind of reflecting on your progress. But this week we are looking at chapters 11 and 12, so the topics of human development and personality. Again, 2 very core topics. We're kind of right in the middle core units here of the class. So as always, you're going to want to read chapter 11 in the ebook. Make sure you read through that and click on all the links and explore everything. You'll also want to read chapter 12 on personality in the ebook. And then as always, you'll want to go through my lecture and lecture video. So in the lecture, as usual, you have the little summary and objectives on the first page that you can listen to or read. We have the Beyond the Book. I kind of put together some images to the song 5 for Fighting, or 100 Years by 5 for Fighting, which is a great example of some of the stages we go through as we develop over the course of our life. A little bit about pregnancy, childbirth, gender identity, aging, and Alzheimer's. So lots of kind of side notes here on the Beyond the Book page. In pop culture, lots of movies and shows highlighting aging and human development. I have a little clip here at the end trying to make light of something that can be kind of difficult as we go through the 5 stages of coping with death. Kind of a funny video to try and make light of it as much as we can. Here are the key terms that you need to know for this chapter for the exam. And then finally on the last page, a little bit about application, what to expect during and after pregnancy, playing with children, keeping your mind sharp, all that kind of side stuff. So make sure you click on any of the links that are in there, explore all of that, watch the videos and all that kind of stuff. Of course, watch my lecture video, which you'll want to take notes to and pay attention to for the exam. And then do the same for chapter 12 on personality, looking at the objectives and summary, Beyond the Book. I did make a video here. This is by far my most popular video. I'm not sure why, but I've had like something like 50,000 people watch this video. It's crazy. I don't know why it's so popular, but I made a little video about kind of overviewing of the 8 major approaches. There's some stuff here about defense mechanisms and assessment. On the In Pop Culture page, some shows that highlight elements related to personality, key terms and review, and then finally on the application page, I gave you some links to personality inventories that you can take for free online. Some of them are better than others, but they can be kind of a lot of fun to do. So again, click through everything there, explore all those links, and then you also have 2 discussions and an exam this week. So kind of a usual week, our even weeks, we always have an exam. So let's take a look at the 2 discussions and then some reminders for the test. And of course, again, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. So for discussion number 11, as usual, you have my instructions up here. You have a little video that I would encourage you to watch where I give you some instructions and highlight the topics and tips. So for this one, we're looking at human development. So you're going to watch and listen to 2 songs about being a teenager. And if you're not a country music fan, you're going to get your country music fix in these 2 songs here. It's 15 by Taylor Swift and Letter to Me by Brad Paisley. And so you'll listen to these 2 songs. The lyrics are also there. You're also going to go on a little field trip. Now, if you don't feel comfortable going on a field trip, you can do this digitally by looking things up online. But I want you to go to somewhere that sells birthday cards like Hallmark, Target, Walmart, CVS, the grocery store even has them. And you're going to look at some cards and the messages that they have around aging, specifically related to turning 30, 40, or 50, and then late adulthood like 60, 70, 80, or just aging in general. And after you've done those 2 components, you'll answer these questions. You're going to look at how do the songs incorporate and demonstrate some of the cognitive, social, or physical milestones or developmental focuses of being a teenager. I want you to link the lyrics to specific topics that we've covered in chapter 11 in order to receive full credit. So I'm looking that you can see, like, here is a lyric and here's how it connects to a specific topic, and really showing off that knowledge. Then you're going to look at what are the general messages, tone, and focus of the cards for each age range that you examined. What are some of the attitudes and stereotypes that you observed related to aging? You're welcome to upload images of the cards that you find. That would be a lot of fun if you want to. Totally optional, but always entertaining. And then finally, the last question, if you personally had to be stuck at one age for the rest of your life, what age would you pick? And why? And this is always such a fun and interesting question. Try not to overthink it. Just if you had to be stuck, would you want to be a teenager? Would you want to be a child? Would you want to be in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 80s, whatever you want? I had someone last semester say 85 because I'd be so old that I could get away with anything. And I thought that was hilarious. So whatever age you would like and why. And of course, you'll hit reply and answer all of my questions. And then don't forget to reply to a classmate to get those 2 points. And that's discussion 11. For discussion number 12, this one's related to personality. So as always, you have your instructions. It's worth 15 points as usual, 13 for your responses to my questions, and then 2 for a peer. Here's my little video you might want to watch again for tips and highlights. But for this one, you have 4 questions that I would like you to answer. Number 1, if you had to describe what has made you the person you are today, in other words, what has shaped your personality, what are some of the key contributors for you? I'd like you to share a minimum of 2 factors that you feel have heavily contributed to your personality and explain how they contributed to who you are today. So it could be genetics, it could be experiences in your life, where you lived, it could be your parents, it could be anything, but 2 factors that have contributed to who you are. Number 2, in the spirit of the trait approach, if you were asked to describe yourself in 5 words, what would those 5 words be? So I'd like you to share with me 5 words that you would use to describe yourself. And then number 3, I want you to ask 2 different people in your life who know you pretty well to describe you in 5 words. So think of someone who knows you in a different capacity. Maybe it's a family member, a partner, a friend, a coworker, a teacher, whoever it might be, someone you know. What words would they use to describe you? Were they similar to yours? Were they different? What are your reactions and comments? And then finally, I want you to take one of these personality quizzes. Now, you can take ones that are a little better, like the human metrics and personality pathway sites are a little more reliable and valid. These ones are a little more fun, like finding out your Star Wars twin. Mine is Obi-Wan Kenobi, as a side note. But you're going to take one of these quizzes and kind of talk about the quiz. What did you do? What were your results? What do you feel? And think about them. Kind of reflecting on that. Do you think it's a good test? Why or why not? And all 4 of those questions together will make up your responses to this discussion. So of course, hit reply when you're ready, and then you can reply to somebody else's post to get those 2 points. And then finally for this week, you also have exam number 3. And as always, I've given you a study guide for the exam. So if you click on that, it will show you all of the terms that you need to know. This exam is on chapters 9, 10, 11, and 12, so everything this week and last week. So what you're going to do is make sure you know all of these. Anything that's on here will be on the test. If it's not on here, you don't need to know it. So make sure that you've studied and prepared everything on here. The exam is due, like everything else, by this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. It's worth 75 points, all the same tips as you've done for the other 2 exams. So try not to wait till the last minute. Make sure that you have a quiet place to take the test with good internet. don't wait till Sunday night. Please don't wait till Sunday night. Inevitably, that's when things go wrong. But make sure that you study and prepare. I will never trick you, but if you are trying to look everything up, you are going to be very short on time. So make sure that you are answering questions and studying like you would for a normal class. And again, as I said, make sure you prepare with the study guide that's going to be your best friend, as it's going to contain all the terms you need to know for the exam. Okay, so those are the big things to be working on this week. Everything from weeks 5 and 6 is due by this Sunday night, the 23rd at 11:59 p.m. I obviously have a couple of reminders for you. Are there any questions or anything at all for me? Just while I'm waiting for that, I'll give you my reminders, but if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'd love to remind you to resubscribe if you have lost your subscription, which is almost every single one of you. There are only like 5 or 6 of you still subscribed. If you could take a moment to renew that, I would really appreciate it. Otherwise, the other reminder I have for you, let me put this here. Our next Twitch live stream will be on Wednesday, April 26th at 11:30 a.m., just like usual. So we will have a live stream next week on Wednesday morning. We only have next week and then one more week after that. So we're definitely starting to get down to it for the semester. So, and hopefully you feel very comfortable. There's less and less people joining these. So hopefully what that means is you feel good about what's expected of you. But I will be here next Wednesday at 11:30 in the morning for like a 15-20 minute check-in with all of you if you have any questions, and also to give you that extra credit question. Thank you so much for those of you who keep joining me live. I appreciate it, and I love that you're here. Otherwise, let me give you the extra credit question for this week. I wrote it out on here, so let me put it on in the chat so that you can answer it. So this is the week number 6 Twitch extra credit question. So your question for this week is, what are Piaget's 4 stages of cognitive development? I would like you to describe or list the stages and give me one feature or element of each stage. So tell me what are the 4 stages, and then give me some information about what's going on in each one of them. There's one predominant thing in each stage, so that's what I would love for you to give me. And when you're ready to answer that, since we're in week 6, you will go to optional Twitch extra credit number 6 right here on Canvas and click on that. And then up at the top, when you're ready, you'll hit start assignment. And that brings up this little text box where you can type your response, spell it correctly, type your response, and then you can hit submit assignment to get that confetti burst. Hopefully you get the 2 points, you get little presents on that one. And this is due by Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. as well. So if you haven't already, make sure you get going on week number 5, and then obviously get going on this week, which is week number 6. The extra credit, the exam, the discussions, the reading of the chapters and lectures and all of that. Next week, we will begin week 7 and 8, the final 2 weeks of our class. So I will be talking about that and then some of the things to kind of keep in mind when we have our live stream next week on Wednesday. So kind of short and sweet, again, as we have, hopefully really settled in now at this point of the semester. Are there any questions or anything at all? I'll hang out for a few minutes. If any of you do have any questions, you can put them in the chat. Otherwise, again, get going on the materials for this week and last week. And I hope you're all hanging in there. We are getting very close to the end of the semester. So if you're starting to feel a little burnt out and tired and overwhelmed, we are very close. Hang in there. And again, I will hang out for a little bit if you have any questions for me. So I'm going to minimize my video just so I'm not staring at myself. But if you think of anything in the next few minutes, feel free to post it. Otherwise, have a wonderful week. And thank you again for those of you joining me on here live. I really appreciate it. And if you're watching it later, make sure that you are subscribed so that you get credit for joining me. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and thank you again. You can go back and watch it later if you want. I just went over all of the highlights of things that we have going on this week. So if you want, the video will be posted probably within the next hour or two. You could go back and rewatch that. I just kind of highlighted the materials that are due for this week, and then obviously the extra credit question and the exam and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much for being here with me. I really appreciate the company. I'm happy to keep doing them as long as people keep showing up. So thank you. Thank you as well. Have a wonderful week, everyone. I hope you're all hanging in there and doing okay.